Ladies and gentlemen, with schools and colleges around the world now offering dedicated esports programs, several content creators, Pokimane principal among them, have begun offering scholarships to the competitors and professionals of tomorrow. During a recent stream, Pokimane made this announcement.
With AVGL, which is the American Video Game League, $100,000. This is my third scholarship. And this time, it is not tied to a specific school like the other ones were. So anyone who enjoys gaming and is a student in the United States or in Canada can apply. And then 10 students will be chosen to win $10,000 each.
You heard right, ladies and gentlemen. Any student gamer in the US and Canada can apply before the process ends at midnight on New Year's Eve, December 31st when the clock strikes January, and the 10 recipients will be announced around February to receive funds for the fall semester. Pokimane's excitement for this announcement was palpable, and rightfully so. When she tweeted about it, reception was overwhelmingly positive, with several prominent figures in the scene such as Arya Saki, Valkyrae, Esfand, and former TSM president Lena lauding the news. Even Dr. Disrespect gave a brief reply voicing his approval, the magnitude of which was not lost on Poki herself. Now here I want to make a couple of points, and I'll start by circling back around to Lena's tweet about Pokimane being the kindest, ruthless businesswoman. This is about as accurate as it gets, because Pokimane's really been making power moves all year. One of the most recent ones involved her founding her own talent agency, RTS. While RTS immediately announced that they were partnering with EVO, which has historically been seen as the fighting game community equivalent to events like the International or League of Legends Worlds. The primary goal of the agency is to assist aspiring content creators with business operations that will help to grow their individual brands. In Pokimane's eyes, her experiences will ideally prevent many of these creators from encountering a lot of the pitfalls that she herself stumbled upon in the past. And this, in turn, allows me to circle back to the two-time. Dr. Disrespect made no secret of how smart a move creating a talent agency was on Pokimane's part.
Pokimane is starting a agency for streamers and content creators. I think it's a fantastic move on her part. I think that was just a matter of time before some influencer was going to start that in this space. But I think it's going to be very successful too.
But the truth here, ladies and gentlemen, is that this goes far beyond Pokimane. I'm pretty sure it's no secret to anybody at this point that it's hard out there, and college tuition costs remain a consistent obstacle for many people trying to pursue a higher education. And as more and more high schools and colleges begin offering esports programs to their students, more and more entities have begun offering scholarships and other forms of financial support to those from more humble backgrounds and marginalized groups aiming to pursue a calling in this field. For example, back in June, Cloud9 announced a partnership with AimLab to provide college scholarships to 3 LGBTQIA+ gamers. You have Community, a nonprofit organization that aims to foster professional development in esports for students in HBCUs. While such programs and assistance are certainly more common than they were even 5 years ago, they are by no means ubiquitous, and that's just another reason why these content creators and orgs giving back to those on the rise is so important. Let me give you another example. Co-owner of XSET, Erin Ashley Simon, actually came out a mere day before Pokimane to announce a scholarship of her own for the University of Kentucky. And she made a good point when she said, "The barrier to entry in esports is still a high one, especially for kids from low-income areas. I'm excited to work with the University of Kentucky, Gen G, and JMI through the Erin Ashley Simon Scholarship to provide experience and education for underserved students." Now at this point, I know what I'd be asking. Higher education is all well and good, but what does that have to do with playing video games? I mean, when one thinks of esports, what do they usually think of? The competition, right? The players. And maybe you'd be onto something. The average competitive gamer is discovered in their teens, and they will often retire from active competition by their late 20s. When looking at the top 100 earners among competitive gamers, the average age of these competitors is 25.7 years old, and that will often trend younger depending on the game. It's not uncommon at all for a competitive gamer to forgo college completely, and jump straight into competition and content creation, doubling down on the latter, or maybe moving into coaching or consultant roles after retirement. Nadeshot perhaps being a notable example, and that makes sense. College could be seen as a time sink that would take away from their peak earning years as a competitor. But at the risk of preaching to the choir, I think it's safe to say that there is so much more that goes into our industry, especially behind the scenes. For example, Nick Ryder, founder and president of Esports Ohio, another NPO dedicated to the cause, described competitive video gaming as involving everything from building computers to make them run faster, to wiring the network to provide the fastest Wi-Fi connection, in addition to soft skills like communication and personal growth that could be useful everywhere, not just in video gaming. Maybe Ryan Johnson, founder and CEO of Community, put it even better.
So when you look at gaming, there's playing, there's testing, and there's also creating. And a lot of that is STEM-related skills around computer science, coding, software development. There's a lot of opportunities for young program participants to study different science-related skills that could lead to careers in video game design, video game testing.
So yes, a lot of these scholarships will likely be aimed at those who intend to work behind the scenes or in another capacity rather than at the controller, and that's fine. The esports industry is always going to need broadcasters, writers, technicians, the list goes on. Even if you're not proficient at video games in the traditional sense, there is undoubtedly a niche you can carve for yourself in the industry, and scholarships can help to assist in getting one's foot in the door. Pokimane seems to be projecting that, and 10 grand to 10 different people will certainly go a ways in getting some dreams off the ground. So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do any of you intend on applying to either Pokimane or Aaron Simon's scholarship? Do you think other personalities in the space will lend their names to similar endeavors? Let us know what you think down below. And until next time, be safe and be good to each other.